When I was 16 years old, I walked into Planned Parenthood for the first time in my life to exercise my freedom of choice. And I believed with everything that I had in my being that it was a legal procedure and it was my right. 4 years later, at the age of 20, on my 5th abortion, I realized for the very first time that my freedom of choice meant 5 children gone forever. When I was pregnant the 5th time, it was on that trip into Planned Parenthood that I woke up. I went in, and like every other time, I got my number, I got my gown, and I sat down on the locker room bench with 35, 40 other women waiting for their number to be called. They called me into the room, and in that procedure, the doctor stopped and he took his surgical instruments and he slammed them on the medical tray full of blood. And he turned around and he looked at the woman who was next to me and said, "This is a 13-week, 14-week gestation. We need more money." And he stormed out of the room. And he did that because I was screaming so hard because the pain was so excruciating that I truly believed that I was going to die. I thought he was pulling out my entire insides. The burning was unbelievable. And so she asked me if I had another $150. When I told her my boyfriend was in the waiting area and he probably had the money, and they retrieved the money, he came back and he completed the procedure. I left, and 3 days later ended up in the emergency room, where they actually, for the first time, acknowledged it as a baby. It was no longer a blob of tissue, a fetus, and it was a baby. And half of it was still inside of me. Never once did Planned Parenthood give me information to empower me to make an informed decision. When they were giving me that abortion and I was in that recovery room and they were throwing 30 days of an antibiotic, the strongest antibiotic they could give me, and they were putting me on the lowest dose of the pill, never once did they tell me that one would cancel out the other and that I had to use another form of protection. And they didn't, because I wasn't a patient for them. I was a client that kept bringing money to the bottom line. This is not about women's freedom of choice. This is about a $1 billion organization who has made their money off of destroying the very freedoms and the very people they are saying they're protecting. After the 5 abortions, I was told by doctors that I could not conceive, that I could not carry a child to full term because of all the scar tissue within my womb. When I married my husband, I had, two semis pull up in our driveway with all my emotional baggage from all the stuff that I had done in my past, all of the destructive behavior, alcohol, drug abuse, dysfunctional relationships with both men and women. Anything that was good in my life I tried to destroy because I didn't think I deserved it. For years, I struggled with living with myself. I struggled with hating myself. I struggled with believing that I was the worst part of society there is. Every time I venture out to share my story, I open myself up to public ridicule and criticism. And I always run into that individual that looks down their nose at me and will ask me, how do you live with yourself? I know that as a woman, it is my responsibility to share with other women what I've been through, with the hopes that they will find freedom, they will find forgiveness. There are millions of women just like me who have been devastated by abortion. And so I'm doing this for you, for those individuals that have been where I've been, that have been on the other side of the clinic, that have been inside the clinic and understand the lie. But we're here to validate the pain, the shame, the regret that you have carried for so many years. Abortion is something that will be with you for the rest of your life. And so if you're looking at this film today and you're thinking you want to exercise your freedom of choice, just know that that freedom will be with you for the rest of your life. And that regret will never go away. This has to be told. The truth of abortion has to be told. And it needs to be addressed through the eyes of women. Women like myself.